Oh, my phone's going to be here. The tablet's going to be there. There you go. Hey, guys. Welcome to another live session from NZ Pocket Guide. We are kind of your expert of traveling in New Zealand, and every single Sunday we welcome the world, that's you guys, to come and chat with us about traveling in New Zealand and help you plan your trip. But first, let's tell you why we are the expert and why you should trust our advices on traveling in New Zealand.
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan your trip in New Zealand. But if you're not really into reading, because that is a lot of articles to read on the website, we also do this live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which around the world is in the UK and France, that's on a Saturday evening at 9/10 p.m. In the US, that's on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. EST or 1 p.m. PST. In India, that's bright and early on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. And in Australia, that's also bright and early on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
And 12 a.m. in Dubai.
Oh, good to know. Thank you, Aju. Okay, and also throughout the week, we take any questions that you guys have put in the comments of our YouTube videos and we compile them together so we can also go through those questions during this live Q&A session as well. But the best place to get your questions answered is basically on the live chat right now, so make sure, come along and ask your New Zealand travel questions.
Here you go. So we have Aju that's been the first one waiting this morning. So he's from Dubai. And yeah, good morning, Aju. How are you doing? We also have Anthony, which is from California, USA, that says hi. And we have Extreme Talota that says, Morena, guys, how are we? So Morena, if you guys don't know, that's good morning in Maori, which is a native language here in New Zealand. And if I'm remembering correctly, Extreme Talota, they are from Tokoroa, which is a small town in the North Island of New Zealand. And we also have Sander De Vries that says, hey, guys, how are you? We're doing awesome.
Good.
How are you doing? Are you staying safe? How's everything going for you, Sander? Drazen says, greeting from Serbia, 10 p.m. Oh, my God, Serbia. I think that's the first time, Drazen, that we have someone from Serbia.
Yeah,
that's
I think
awesome. So I guess it's 12 p.m. on Saturday, right? But
10 p.m.
Yeah, 10 p.m. Yeah. Sorry, 10 p.m. on Saturday. That's awesome. And Mira is here another week. Hello, Mira. How are you doing?
Sorry, Mira, we will not be doing any competitions this week. So
you won't have to write any numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple of things today. We have noticed that we say the word way too often on videos lately. So we're going to try to catch each other to not say the word too much. And I realized I just did a big one just beforehand, but we'll work on that.
That's definitely not going to break our flow.
No,
that's
not at all.
A great idea, Robin.
And another thing. Ooh, I just did it right now. This is terrible. This is not going to work. And obviously, if you do have any questions, just put them in the live chat. We are here to answer all of them for you. I know that one of the big questions that you guys have been having lately is when will the New Zealand borders reopen again following the COVID-19 outbreak? And we've done a video for you this week. It was live about a couple of days ago, I think, if I'm correct. And you'll be able to watch it. And we go through most of the countries in which we actually can kind of take a guess. And most of it is a guess. And we explain what are the official information and which one are guesses. And if you want to know more about that, just check out this video. We went for about like 15 minutes explaining everything that we think. GR Geek says, hi, how are you? Colombia, 3 p.m. Hey, that's awesome. Colombia. Where are you living in Colombia? Are you in Bogota or are you somewhere else? It's an awesome place to be. Kshitij says bonjour.
I think that's aimed at you,
look at that,
clearly.
Look at that. That means good morning in French. And Jane says hi. No, don't say it. I did not say it. Anyway. Well, it looks like you guys are all like kind of awake right now. I love it. So any of your questions, put them in the live chat. But in the meantime, we actually did receive a question this week from Magda. And I think that's going to be something that may affect quite a few of you guys. So here we go.
All right. So Magda has a question about the working holiday visa for New Zealand. And she asks, hi, I'm wondering about the 12 months I'm allowed to work. Is it counts as days that I've worked or weeks? What I mean is if I work 2 days a week, is that going to count as a whole working week or as 2 days from the 12 months?
All right, so that's a question regarding the working holiday visa in New Zealand. The working holiday visa in New Zealand is the visa that allows people, usually under 30 years old, for some countries under 35 years old, to come and work in New Zealand for 12 months, some countries 24 months. This allows you to stay in New Zealand for a little bit longer and also afford a trip to New Zealand for an extended period of time and allow you to be able to do more around New Zealand. This also allows you to get some overseas working experience, which is usually super valuable on a CV. So it's an opportunity that a lot of young people from around the world take advantage of.
Yeah.
So the working holiday visa is available from 42 different countries, and those countries are...
I have them all right here. So in alphabetical order, that is Argentina, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Chile, China, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, Hong Kong, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Korea, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Malta, Mexico, the Netherlands, Norway, Peru, the Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Taiwan, Thailand, Turkey, the United Kingdom, the USA, Uruguay, and Vietnam.
All right, so that's the list of countries. And if you do want Laura to be the new announcer for the Olympic Games opening ceremony for all those countries, just, use the hashtag Laura for Olympic Games.
Yeah, and, I think I have enough experience listing all the countries now.
All right, so we're going to get the board and we're going to put it on an angle. I'm just going to go through a little bit how the timeline of the working holiday visa, we can put it down here. Yeah. How the timeline of the working holiday visa work, because that's a question that we receive super often, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to kind of show you how that basically works. So this will be the date of application for your working holiday visa, and this will be the date when you have to leave New Zealand.
That's going to be behind me.
Up here we go. So when you apply for your working holiday visa, you have a period of 12 months. So that's 12 months right here to enter New Zealand. So you have to enter New Zealand within those 12 months. Otherwise, your working holiday visa will just not be valid anymore. So you have to abide by those conditions, and you have to basically apply for your working holiday visa when you're ready to travel to New Zealand. Now, let's say that you enter in New Zealand exactly on the last day. You can enter New Zealand anytime you want, and that's going to kick in as soon as you enter. So let's not say the last day. Let's say right here, that's 2/3 around the year. So let's say that's September. So in September, let's say you applied in January. In September, you enter New Zealand. Now your working holiday visa start date kicks in at the time you enter the country. So as soon as you enter the country, that kicks in, and then here you go. You get your 12 months in New Zealand. You can spend 12 months in New Zealand to work and travel. Now, it does not matter how many days you work or how long you're going to be working, how many different jobs you're going to get and all that. It does not matter whatsoever. You have 12 calendar months. So let's say you enter on the, let's say, 1st of September. By the 1st of September, the next year, you need to leave. And this is how it works. There is an option after completing about 3 months. That's about 3 months here. After completing 3 months of horticultural work, which can be working in orchards or, picking kiwi fruit, those kind of works.
Or working in vineyards as well. So viticulture and horticulture work.
Any other kind of work you can do to extend? No?
Not for the 3 months visa.
So there is an option if you work on the horticultural work to be able to apply to get an extra 3 months, and those 3 months will be added at the end right here. So you will get, let's say, if you applied on the 1st of September, if you arrive on the 1st of September, then you'll get 3 months from the 1st of September. So you get a September, October, November, and you'll have to leave then. So this is basically the time frame on how it works for the working holiday visa in New Zealand. I know a lot of people get confused. So again, just to recap, you apply for your visa. When it's granted to you, you get 12 months to enter in New Zealand. Once you decide to enter New Zealand, from the date of entry, you get 12 months to stay in New Zealand. If you get your 3 months of horticultural work, you get your extra 3 months if you want to. But it does not matter what you're doing in New Zealand. So if you decide not to work for 6 months and only work for 6 months, you don't get 12 months of work whenever you want. Or you can just be working a day a week and be able to stay in New Zealand, for the amount of time when you have worked 365 days, for instance. That's definitely not how it works. It's calendar months.
Yeah.
Um,
And just so you know,
Yes.
for extending your visas, that's not an automatic thing. You have to actually do a full application to extend visas if you do want to
Yes.
stay longer.
Yes. So, and there are multiple options to stay a little bit longer after a working holiday visa in New Zealand, but we won't cover that because you have to be a registered immigration advisor in New Zealand to be able to give personal kind of immigration advice. And so we can't really do that. The working holiday visa is a great experience for a lot of people. It's extremely popular in New Zealand. So it's really something worth considering when traveling in New Zealand. And I hope that this was helpful to you guys. We also have ton of we also have ton of other videos on this channel that will help you budget for your working holiday visa, and then a ton of questions about the working holiday visa. In fact, we have a full playlist, and on top of that, we have NZ Pocket Guide that also has a ton of tips for working holiday visa in New Zealand.
So also we do have an article, like Robin says, on nzpocketguide.com, which also lists like not only the sort of explaining the timeline of like when you can come to New Zealand, how long a working holiday visa is usually valid, but it also gives you some tips on, you know, the best things to do 3 months before coming to New Zealand for your working holiday, the best thing to do when you, on the first week you arrive, you know, gives you a timeline of like the things that you should be doing to make sure that your working holiday goes smoothly in New Zealand.
And all of that can be found on nzpocketguide.com. Then you click on Work in New Zealand, and then you have Working Holiday Visa as a whole section with a ton of articles. Right here, you'll be able to find all that. And if you do find this video useful, a great free way to say thank you for all our hard work is to hit the like button, or even share that video, even subscribe, because we do those kind of videos all the time for you guys, and join us during one of the live sessions, which is when we are recording this. So we'll get back to the live chat, and thank you very much for watching. All right, so in the live chat, what is being happening? Sender say, I really hope they find a vaccine for COVID-19 or something, then back to New Zealand, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to find a vaccine and produce it and everything. I'm guessing it takes multiple years, but I'm not a scientist.
I'm no expert.
Yeah, obviously. Xitis says, hey guys, is the Transalpine worth it to travel? And if it is, which route is best, Christchurch to Greymouth or Greymouth to Christchurch? Xitis, did you watch the video of us doing the Transalpine? We actually do both ways. We just do back and forth. We were based in Christchurch, and we did find it more useful to kind of go back and forth. So you do the trip, and then you get back to where your car is. We did find that very useful, and we did the whole journey during New Zealand's biggest gap year, which is when we decided to do 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And there's a full video of over 10 minutes of us doing that, so you can actually judge for yourself. But Laura, did you like it?
Yes, I thought it was really awesome. It's a really cool scenic journey, and it's really good the fact that you get to enjoy your scenic journey while you're not driving. Because there's often, if you're choosing to go on a road trip around New Zealand, you're driving the whole time. But yeah, this is a good way to actually take in some scenery while not having to worry about the driving. But in terms of what's best going between Christchurch or Greymouth and Christchurch, they're the exact same route, and there's really no, and like Robin said, we did both ways, so we did get to compare, and they're both as enjoyable as each other. I think whatever logistically works out best for you, like if it makes more sense for you to start out in Greymouth, then go to Christchurch, or vice versa, or like Robin says, just do the journey back and forth, which takes, I think, about 8 hours. They do.
So it's just a day activity, basically.
Exactly, and if you do that back and forth, the train stays in Greymouth. If you say you start in Christchurch, the train stays in Greymouth for I think about an hour.
That's a lot of
Oh, was it? Stays in Greymouth for about an hour, and then you get to return back to Christchurch. So you do get an hour in Greymouth to sort of, I don't know, relax, get a coffee, go for a walk on the waterfront or something. So yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool trip. Jane says hashtag Laura for the games. Yeah. This is so funny. Oh, I love it. Jatin says, hi, this is Jatin from Mumbai. And he says, I'm planning to immigrate to New Zealand with my family of 2+2. A little bit confused between Hamilton or Christchurch on an entrepreneur visa. I will say Christchurch. I think the South Island is absolutely awesome. So I will pick Christchurch if I were you. Obviously, we don't have any context from what you're asking right now. We don't know what kind of business you're going to be starting. We don't know anything
what you're
of
looking for.
What you like and everything like that. But I will say Christchurch.
Yeah.
Mira says, I need rideshare services like Uber popular in New Zealand.
Well, Uber is popular more in the cities, the large cities like Auckland,
Wellington and
Christchurch, I think. But
I don't think it's in Queenstown even just yet.
No, but that is really like where the most populated places are in New Zealand. You definitely won't find Uber in the like huge amount of small towns there are in New Zealand. But in terms of other rideshare apps, I'm not really sure what else is popular.
There is at the moment we've only heard of Uber in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's obviously a little bit behind, but we do have a lot of those scooters, like, city scooters. There is so many of them. There's
electric
Lime. There is just so many.
Electric scooters are definitely a really popular thing in not even in the main cities, everywhere. But now actually in smaller towns they are being introduced. Yeah. So that sort of thing. I know it's not really a ride share app or anything, but that's a thing.
It works with your suitcase. You have the wheelie suitcase and the scooter like that. Don't do that. That sounds too dangerous. I was just joking. All right. Well, I just said Extreme Talota says, have a good one, guys. Catch you next week.
Okay,
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks
for joining us. Hessian says, hey, Hessian, how are you doing? That's been a while. I mean, that's been since last week, but
hey. We've missed you all this week.
Good morning, Laura and Robin. I booked the accommodation in YHA Lakefront in Queenstown. By the way, I don't know will be some restrictions or no. I'm going to Queenstown in August.
If you're already in New Zealand,
I think you'll be okay.
You would be okay. I don't think there's any if the YHA Lakefront is in fact open and you manage to make a booking, and just maybe you want to give them a quick call saying just making sure you're still open and the booking's still gonna go, still in place for going in August. But if you're actually coming from overseas, then
please watch the video we did this week with the border opening date prediction, because we don't think it's going to be open for anyone in
he says he's in Auckland
in August. But so you're in Auckland. Good. Definitely go have fun in Queenstown. It's pretty awesome. Everything is quite cheap at the moment, so you're gonna have a blast. There's so many discounts at the moment of all the activities and everything, so if you want some bangs for your bucks, right now is the good time. The Engineer 77. Hey, did you receive your present yet, or is it somewhere in the postal system, hidden somewhere? Says, hey friends, I hope you are both doing well. Quick question: what's the best campervan rental company in the Southern End? The best quality, not the best budget. Thank you. We actually have an article on NZ Pocket Guide with that, so you can have a look at it. I'll show you how to find it, and then we'll give you obviously our opinion. But I'd said again. So on NZ Pocket Guide, we actually have a ton of different campervan articles in order for you to be able to decide what is best for you. What type of articles do we have, Laura, for that?
Yeah, so the thing, obviously, we still would need more context to answer this question, because there are all sorts of different types of campervan rentals in New Zealand. There's everything from luxury motorhomes to, small camper cars. If you're looking for something self-contained, maybe something that you want to use in holiday parks, or if you're looking for something to do like camping in Department of Conservation campsites, there's all sorts of different options. But on nzpocketguide.com, we have sort of all the best campervan companies sort of on a list, comparing all the different sort of specifications of each company. Based on different aspects. So for instance, we have articles on the best campervan companies starting from Christchurch, the best campervan companies for families, the best motorhome or RV campervan companies on the North Island, on the South Island. So I really encourage you to go onto nzpocketguide.com and have a look through those articles, which are in the travel tips section.
So I was about to show that to you.
Yep.
So you click on travel tips. I hope you guys can see here. Then you click on transportation.
There's no way they can see that.
And then you click on rental campervans. And in there, you will have a ton of different articles. And we have articles such as the best campervan companies in Christchurch. So what I suggest to you is, rather than looking for South Island only, just look at where do you want to pick it up. So we have article for Christchurch, we have article for Queenstown. I think that's all.
Just for the South Island.
For the South Island, so Christchurch and Queenstown. And then you go there and you check them out. So we actually describe all of them quite thoroughly in order for you to kind of be able to make your choice. And it really depends what kind of size campervan you like. So we like kind of a bit more smaller style campervan, which are a bit more compact. So we like the Pods, for example. The Pod is a cool company. But there's really a ton of them. It's really just very specific to our needs. There is a lot of people I wouldn't recommend the Pod to, for instance, because that just wouldn't be the same type of travel. So it really kind of depends on you. But if you want to give us even more details, the engineer 77, we can kind of try to come up with something for you.
Yeah.
So either give us more details or head to nzpocketguide.com and then you have more. I'll do both, actually. That's, that's, it's even better. Jennifer Alice says, hey guys, wondering your opinion on tour companies like Wild Kiwi. Which is the best one in your opinion? Planning a 2 weeks tour on the Self Island solo. Same thing, we had plenty of articles on nzpocketguide.com. I'll show you where to find it, and then we'll tell you about Wild Kiwi because we kind of really like it.
Yeah.
All right, so same thing, you're going to click, Jennifer, you're going to click on travel tips, then transportation, and then bus. And then in bus right here, we have so many articles for you on the tours, but we even have the tours by kind of timing. So like the best 7-day tours on the South Island. So if you only have 7 days, or the best 2 weeks tours and all those kind of things, or the best North Island or South Island tours.
We've got the best backpacker tours, the best sort of luxury tours, all those sort of things as well. So depending on, if you're looking at Wild Kiwi, you're probably looking for something in between. It's kind of like backpacker, but flash packer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have all those different bus companies that are compared on those articles, basically based on some sort of criteria that we think would be helpful to you guys.
And what do you think about Wild Kiwi?
Wild Kiwi is really cool. The thing that makes them different from the other bus companies for New Zealand is their vehicles in particular. They have small they're kind of like mini van buses. So you don't have like a huge group that you're traveling with. You're only traveling with, I think, only about up to 16 people or something like that. And their vans, their mini buses, whatever you want to call them, are quite luxurious.
It's an interesting kind of bus. Yeah, it's not your traditional kind of bus. So if you want like something a bit more upscale.
Yeah, they have like nice, comfortable leather seats. They have, like personal USB plugins and stuff like that. And, they do things a little bit more upscale than just sort of like your big coach buses where, you're just like amongst 40 people on a normal bus. So yeah, they have that sort of thing, and they also have, like, with their tours, they have a lot of inclusions in terms of like your meals throughout the trip. You have most meals included, I think, and I've only really heard good things about Wild Kiwi, so I would definitely recommend.
And so there is a ton of information about Wild Kiwi, as well as reviews and all that, because I went there, and so you'll be able to find that on nzpocketguide.com. on the section that I just told you. So if you want to do a little bit of reading, because they're not cheap stuff, so I will actually do a little bit of research. So I will strongly encourage you to go on the website. It's not, again, it's free to go on nzpocketguide.com. So we're not selling you anything. It's just you're about to spend quite a few $1,000s on a tour. You may want to know what you're in for, know what's included and what's not. And that's what we kind of do on the website. We just make sure that you have all the information and you can skim through. There's some section you don't care about. There's some section you care about, and then you go. But they have a really cool 7-day South Island tour that you may really enjoy. All right, I hope that was helpful to you, Jennifer. By the way, guys, if you find anything useful that we're saying right here, just hit the like button. That's always really cool that's always really cool for you guys to be able to, say thank you for all our hard work. Where are we? Jatin says, thanks, guys. Food processing. So that was relating to wanting to move to New Zealand. Manufacturing Indian gravies from tomatoes, onion, and spices. It's for supermarket and Indian restaurants. Well, if you come and do that, send us some gravy. We want to try it for our curries. So yeah, that'd be fun. Come, I think both will be best. Maybe Hamilton would be easier for shipping because most of the population is around Auckland and the North Island. So maybe the shipping is going to be easier. But shipping is relatively cheap around New Zealand anyway. So you may be able to sort that out with having much cheaper cost of living in Christchurch rather than Hamilton. But again, we are more of a travel channel, so we don't really know about settling for businesses and food processing and all that. Nathan, say hello. Where are you? Bye.
See you, Nathan.
Yeah, we are on the North Island of New Zealand right now, but thank you very much for popping in, Nathan. Bye-bye. Iak Boss. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but he says, hi, is it easy to get a visa for New Zealand for immigrate? At the moment, not really, because Immigration New Zealand is working as very low capacity. So you probably will have to wait at least a year in order to get things sorted. So at the moment, it's not really easy. Yamin Sanda says, bonjour, est-ce que je peux vous poser des questions en français? I will answer only because I would like everybody to kind of enjoy the video. So basically he's asking, hello, can I ask you questions in French? You can ask them in French if you want. I will translate them and we will answer them in English only, just because the goal of this channel right here is to build a community and build a database of answer for all the travel questions that people have in New Zealand. So if we start doing them in all the different languages and everything like that, it will kind of segment things, and then that means that only certain people will get an answer to your question, and that's just not fair. So we like everybody to get an answer. But if you want to type them, I will translate them. Jennifer Alize says, thanks, I will definitely check it out. You're very welcome. And tell us what you think as well. It's always really handy for us to know, if we're doing a good job on the website or anything. So you can always, kind of send us a Facebook message or anything like that and tell us, hey, this was good, this need improvement and all that. We love to actually know what we can do better all the time. Mira says, for working holiday, you guys recommend traveling around the first month, also before starting to look for work. Any thought on doing a tour or bus tips versus buying a car and touring on your own? It really different. It depends, honestly. Getting buying a car, I don't know. I personally don't like it so much, right? I'm just being upfront. Laura loves the flexibility and be able to go drive to a hike and get that. So she's more into I should kind of buy a car. I'm more into take a bus. The reason for taking a bus, because usually when you arrive on a working holiday visa, you're kind of on your own. So you want to meet some other people and just kind of have this social kind of fun time of traveling, as well as usually when you arrive and we advise you to travel just 1 month, let's be honest, you're not going to go super far off the beaten track. You're going to want to see the main things in New Zealand, kind of get a feel for the place and see where you want to settle yourself. So I will more kind of go for the bus, as well as the investment is much, much lower. Maybe you're going to buy a car on the first month, travel around New Zealand. Then when you're going to find a job, you're going to realize that you can just walk to work, and you're just going to have the hassle and the burden of the financial burden of having a car while not really needing it. On the other hand, it gives you a lot of flexibility to have a car. So it's kind of a
it really depends on maybe what job you end up finding and how close you're living to that job and how easy it is to access that job. But you could take the approach of doing a bus tour when you first arrive in New Zealand and seeing where you want to go. And then once you figured out where you want to stay for your working holiday for, a few months to do some work, then you can sort of decide, okay, I need to get a car or I'm going to find an accommodation that's actually close to my work. So I don't need a car. That's exactly what I did when I first arrived in New Zealand on a working holiday. I didn't get a car straight away. And so I went on on a Kiwi Experience bus tour, and I ended up living in Queenstown. And then when I found a job, only then did I decide that where I was going to find accommodation, because I wanted to make sure my accommodation was as close to my work as possible. So, you sort of you can work something out. Basically, if you don't have a car, there's definitely ways to figure out a way that you really don't need a car.
But if I want to be the devil's advocate, let's say you want to go work in Kiwi fruit picking location, for instance, and you stay in a hostel. If you have the car, you're the one action, take also some other people to work and everything. So you'll be able to make some money because everybody will pitch in for gas and all that to actually be able to bring everybody to work. So you also get this flexibility. You're always the person that people want to be friends with because you have the car and you can, on the weekend go for this hike or go to this place. So it really is up to you how you feel you want to approach it. If you feel like it's daunting for you to get a car, then don't do it right from the get-go, right? Don't add extra burden into coming to a new country, traveling, and don't make it harder for you. If you feel like it's going to be a piece of cake for you, definitely get yourself a car. Also, you look at your finances. If you do have a good amount of money, if you have a good $10,000, go for it. Go get yourself a car and so have the full flexibility, and it won't be too big of a financial burden for you. But if you're coming, Mira, if you're coming and you only have about $5,000, that may be just way too much of a stretch, and it will basically mean that if you don't successfully sell your car, then you won't be able to get a flat and you won't be able to do. It's going to be a bit too much for you. So I don't really know. Yeah. You get pros, you get cons, you get everything in behind. So it will depend on your situation. But I hope that with all the ideas that we just gave you right now, you understood how you want your trip to look like, as well as what your finances are, and you're able to make your decision, because we just don't know enough about what's your situation right now for you to be able to decide for you.
But in terms of the first part of your question about traveling for a month before starting work in New Zealand, that's exactly what we would recommend.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said you recommend to do that. How do I do it?
Okay. I thought she was asking if we do recommend.
No, we definitely do. Yeah, you guys recommend traveling. Okay. Yeah. Okay, BGNG says, we are now on the never plan for reopening on NZ border. You can call it the second wave. You can call it the long tail end of the first wave. Oh, no, the long tail of the first wave, not the word end. You can say the first wave have never ended. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Harjot says, hey, both, tell me again about new international students who want to come to New Zealand for education. New Zealand has great universities, so yeah, you should. You're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Kirsty Wash, hello. Are there any Maori? Hey, Kirsty, how are you doing? Your parcel, we tried to, because you won something last week, right? We went to the post shop to try to post your parcel, but their system was down. So we haven't posted yet. We have to get back to it. Apparently, the whole system was down at the time we went for the whole country.
Yeah.
So they refused to take our parcel. So we'll get back to the shop this week. Anyway, she says, are there any Maori phrases you would recommend learning if you want to visit New Zealand?
Kia ora.
Yeah, right. That means kind of a hello, welcome. It's a really cool kind of welcoming kind of phrase. Aside from that, every single Maori native speaks completely fluently English, right? So you're never going to need to actually know all those sentences. It's always kind of nice to know a few phrases. And that's why on NZ Pocket Guide, we actually have a list of kind of like common phrases that you may want to know. Obviously, as we are not New Zealanders and we are not Maori, we wouldn't be able to kind of even pronounce them properly to be able to tell them. So I think that wouldn't be our place. So I don't think we'll go there.
Yeah.
But if you go on NZ Pocket Guides, on the culture section, you'll be able to find awesome phrases.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the most important thing is learning how to say the words, particularly place names, when you come to New Zealand, and learning how to pronounce a few of the words. For instance, when the two letters WH are together, that's actually pronounced F. So, for instance, there's a town in New Zealand called Whakatane, which is spelled WHAKATANE. So just knowing how to actually pronounce these sort of words is probably the best way you can prepare for that when coming to New Zealand. And yeah, on nzpocketguide.com, we do have an article explaining how to pronounce all the different sounds and spellings and stuff in the words. So make sure to go check that out.
Cool. And remember, guys, if you want to say thank you for all our hard work and all our answers, just hit the like button. That's always awesome for us. It tells YouTube that basically what we do is helpful, and they may just recommend it to more people. So that'd be awesome. Jatin says, thanks for the input. Bye, guys. You're very welcome. Iamin has a long French question I'm going to translate for you. Do you have any ideas on student visa in New Zealand? Also, is asking, do you have the right to work with a study visa in New Zealand? And finally, can you give us the cost, overseeing of the cost of life in Auckland? So, first, student visa in New Zealand, there is plenty of different student visa that you can get in New Zealand. Obviously, right now, it's not the right time to apply for them because all the borders are closed and all that. But there is plenty of different student visas. In order to get yourself a student visa in New Zealand, you can head to immigration.govt.nz. That's the Immigration New Zealand website. That's pretty much everything we can tell you about the visas, because there is a law in New Zealand that actually forbids people that are not a registered immigration advisor to give immigration advice. And since we are not a registered immigration advisor, we're more here to do a travel channel. We are not able to give you more tips on that. For the second part of your question, you're asking if you have the right to work with a student visa in New Zealand. It will depend on which visa you apply for and what are your student conditions, your student visa conditions. Some student visas forbid you altogether to work. Some student visa will allow you to study part-time and work part-time. Some student visa will allow you to study full-time and only work a few hours. So you have like 1 day of work a week, which is a load. And there is a lot of different conditions alongside with all those things. So you need to be aware of those when you apply for a visa, and you need to know what you're going to want, what type of visa you're going to want when you contact Immigration New Zealand. And you can see all your options on their website.
Yeah, each of the student visas on the Immigration New Zealand website does have the conditions of each visa really clearly laid out. So you'll be able to tell straight away from the conditions listed whether you'll be able to work or not.
And finally, for the cost of life in Auckland, for an overview of the cost of life in Auckland, we actually do have a full video on this channel about the cost of life in Auckland. So if you just type Auckland, and then nzpocketguide.com on YouTube. You'll be able to find our videos, and we'll be talking about the cost of life both in New Zealand and in Auckland for a good 15 minutes, and we go into depth into all of those things. So I think you're going to really enjoy that, and that will definitely help you also understand the cost of life in New Zealand. So I hope that was helpful to you, Yamin. Harjot says, I was asking about the border. Any update for international students? We actually did a video, the last video on the channel, actually, if you check our old videos, the last video on the channel is the big coronavirus update where we are covering all the opening dates that we think are going to happen for all the students, and so for all travelers in New Zealand, that includes students. So right now there is no differentiation on one type of visa you have. It doesn't matter if you're a student or if you are a worker or if you are just a tourist. Everybody is under the same condition for the visa, for the border opening. So check out that video. We talk about everywhere, and we talk, every single country. I mean, every country that we can guess for, and we give you our prediction. But there has not been any official wording just yet. But if you want our prediction, just check out that video. Drazen, which is from Serbia, he says, bye-bye, my pleasure to watch you. I'm just going to catch hunting my kids for bed. Good luck. Are they hiding themselves away so you don't have to put them in bed? That's quite funny. I like it. But just don't hunt your kids. Just catch them. But good night. Yeah, get a big kid net and just catch them. Anyway, good night, Drazen. Thank you very much for popping in. Really appreciate it. Ibin Joe says, please tell me about some good places to visit in and near Mount Cook during winter. Oh, that's a cool question.
Yeah. Well, one place that's really good to visit near Mount Cook is a place called Lake Tekapo. This is really famous for its scenery, and you'll be surrounded by snowy mountains in winter, if it has been snowing, which usually it has been. There are a few ski fields in the area, so if you're wanting to try some sort of skiing or snowboarding in New Zealand, you can do that. Otherwise, on the other side of that, you can just relax at the hot pools that are at Lake Tekapo. That's also another good thing to do there. And
in the Mount Cook area, what is there to do? There's
that's sort of just outside.
Yeah, but if you are staying in Mount Cook.
There's a ton of hikes you can do. There's the Hooker Valley Walk, which I think is open all year round. Because Mount Cook is sort of right in the sort of center of the Southern Alps, there might be some walks that are closed during winter due to the snowy conditions. But yeah, the Hooker Valley Walk is definitely the most famous one to do there, and I do think it is open in winter. Otherwise, you can do scenic flights there. There's a small airport at Mount Cook. So you can do some scenic flights around New Zealand's highest mountains and longest glaciers, which is a really good option. If you want to check out some of the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, just type in Mount Cook, nzpocketguide.com. nzpocketguide.com onto YouTube. You can find all our videos on the different activities that we've done in Mount Cook and around that area. So we've done scenic flights, we've done glacier heli hiking, we've done a stargazing tour. There's the there's Sir Edmund Hillary Alpine Centre, so that's like a little bit of a museum there. That's a few things that will keep you going.
Yeah, I don't know how long you have in Mount Cook, but we just filled up a month for you, so enjoy. But yeah, I hope that was helpful to you. Ibin, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right as well. I like the name Ibin. It just sounds right. I like it. I think it's cool.
And sorry for saying about Lake Tekapo. I just saw that you said near Mount Cook as well, so I just thought I'd throw that in there too.
I just wanted to also put just a specific Mount. That's all and in Mount Cook as well.
Yeah.
Mira says, thanks. That was a good overview of some of the pros and cons of each option. So which one are you going to pick, Mira? Just tell us as well. We kind of want to know. It also depends on where you arrive as well for buying a car, depending on a new time of the year as well, because there is better time of the year and worse time of the year to buy and sell your car, both in Auckland and in Christchurch. So you've got to take that in consideration. We have a lot of videos about buying cars in New Zealand on this channel, so you can see all our tips. I also have videos of us, buying a terrible campervan and having to deal with the consequences of that. So you may enjoy that.
And there are some also isn't Christchurch a little bit cheaper for buying cars compared to Auckland, that sort of thing? So yeah, that's another thing to consider as well.
We had to buy a car in Christchurch actually at the last minute.
We did, yes.
Aldous Lai says, where is the background music in your video from? Always on lookout for nice tune to listen to. Thanks, Laura and Robin. Laura first. Yay!
Yeah.
Where's the music from?
Which music?
I don't know, all the background music. You see, you asked Laura first. She doesn't know.
Because Robin does all the video editing.
All the awful editing that I'm in charge of that.
Yeah.
So the music, they're all kind of royalty-free music that you can buy on websites such as Envato. So I just buy like bundles of those little music, and you buy them and you pay. It's usually pretty cheap, it's like $20 or something, and you get the right to use it over and over on your videos. And you'll realize that we only use the same like 4 music all the time, just because it's just easier for us to just have this kind of music, and we make little templates in there. So they're really kind of, I'll be honest with you, very boring kind of music. It's just something that should be forgotten in the background, and that's basically what we're usually looking for. Now, as per knowing the artists or anything like that, I really do not know. I just bought them years ago, and I just keep on using them. So I'm sorry, but can you try to use what's the Shazam on it? The app Shazam is like an app that you have on your phone, and you play music and it will recognize which tune that is. Maybe Shazam will help you on this one. But that's basically it. I do not know what they are. For me, they call literally loop A, loop B. I just renamed them, and that's all I know. So I just know I put those one back to back, and that's basically it.
But if you go on that website, Envato, then there's a whole bunch of generic sort of
very generic music you can just buy. For me, it's usually just more for video editing. I wouldn't buy it to listen to it. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a bit meh.
Yeah.
BJN says, as a Kiwi, we would love to see our Aotearoa, New Zealand borders open as soon as possible. However, post-lockdown, the nations were pressured to reopen far too soon. But now people's behavior is spreading coronavirus again. Well, this is why it's going to be progressive, and this is why we did a whole video on how and when we think things are going to be reopening. I think it will take some time, but, it will get back to normal.
Sometimes Laura sings it.
He's the opening song, royalty-free. Sometimes Laura sings it. Yeah. So there, Jane. Yeah, that's one of the royalty-free songs. Yeah. And yes, there is one. You remember which episode it is that you?
The sing? Hamilton Gardens.
Oh yeah. When Laura. So there is an episode of New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year when we had a problem with a campervan, and so I had to get all the way to Auckland to get a campervan from the company called Juicy, because they were kind enough to let us borrow one of the campervan for a couple of weeks while our campervan was getting fixed. And while I was doing all this dreadful work, going back and forth and driving and taking the bus and everything, Laura, I got to go visit the Hamilton Gardens.
Yeah.
And in this video, she's by herself. She was just so happy that she was just singing the whole theme song by herself and just having a good time. So, I thought that was so funny that I actually left it. I left it in the editing because I just thought that was really, really hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you watch the video of canyoning in Raglan, actually a guy actually made up a theme song for us that I thought was quite cool as well. Yeah. And I left it at the end as well. But yeah, that's a bunch of little tidbits that we put on the editing. We've done so many videos for you guys actually. Thinking of that, so this live session is live session number 80. So we sat 80 times. We spent 80 hours giving you tips for traveling in New Zealand. Already just that, right? We have over 800 videos on the channel. So we've done over 400 videos of us doing different activities around New Zealand. And there's another 400 videos of us giving you tips of traveling in New Zealand. So there's definitely a ton for you to check out. So in the midst of like all those little videos of us doing activities, because we don't pretend to be good editors or to make really high quality videos. We just want to give you a real insight of what it will be to do each activities around New Zealand. There is a bunch of like funny things that we kind of have sprinkled around, because obviously through 400 videos, as much as we can, we try to just show you New Zealand and the activities and everything, but you get to see quite a fair bit of our personal.
Yeah, sometimes we just like to have fun as well.
Yeah, sometimes we like to be silly, most of the time. Leo Smile says, I was about to say, Jan, did you watch most of our videos or just like here and there, so some of the travel videos? Leo Smile says, hello, do you still have wishes to see new places or to do new activity in New Zealand? When I watch your videos, it looks like there is no surprises anymore. Oh, that's not true. One of the things that always surprises us is wildlife. Yeah. Honestly, we love wildlife. We just can't get it. I could be on that boat watching whales in Kaikoura every day. Yeah. I could be swimming with those seals in Kaikoura, which I called one of my favorite activities in New Zealand every single day. Actually, showing you an example of us being surprised. Around the end of New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, we explored Northland. So, we started in Auckland, we did all the way down the North Island, then we went down the South Island, we went back up on the other side of the South Island, explored the side of Northland, and then we did Northland the last minute. Northland is the section which is above Auckland. and we explored that. And we're going on a trip to go to Portnight in Portnight Island, and we went to go on a scuba diving trip. So we did some scuba diving, and we were absolutely so surprised by how amazing was this whole cave that we did with all those fish. It was gobsmacking, and that was after doing already about 300 activities, so 350 activities. We were super surprised with that, and we went back on the boat, kept going around. And then we actually spotted some seals that just started playing with the boats and everything. We did a bit of snorkeling, and the seals came and played with us. That was another surprise. Literally, just within one day, you get two massive surprises.
Yeah.
So I think saying that we're not surprised anymore is just quite amazing. Also, speaking about new places, we explore a lot of the South Pacific Island, and all of them are super surprising too. Like, there's many things that we literally never thought we'd see in our lives.
Yeah, so near to New Zealand are the South Pacific Islands, only about a 3-hour flight away. And every single island that we've been to has its own sort of unique cultures and unique sort of landscapes and things. So yeah, like even once you feel like you've kind of done everything in New Zealand, there's always places nearby to explore something.
Do you remember that day in Fiji when we jumped from the boat and you were face to face with the shark? And we're like, oh my god, that was amazing, right? That was a reef shark. It wasn't supposed to eat us. It was just really nice and fun. But you know what I mean? That happened only a few months ago, and that was fantastic. A few months ago as well, we were in Tonga and we were swimming with beautiful whales and their calves, and it was phenomenal. And then we were kind of not chased, but we were with the boat, and there was literally whales that were kind of
swimming underneath us in like sort of at the same speed as we were being pulled along with the boat.
Exactly, yeah. And then also after when we were back on the boat, then there were some whales that were doing a heat run. So that means the males were kind of like competing with each other. They were jumping. We saw them breaching, so jumping out of the water by like
but maybe we're digressing away.
Times,
This isn't even about New Zealand anymore. So
but no, we are still always surprised, and we still love to discover new places. We love to do that.
We still go on like hikes maybe a bit less than when we went literally every day when we were doing New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we do like an activity every single day. But once every couple of weeks we sort of go and do a hike, and sure, we are going through some of the sort of same sort of looking New Zealand forest, but it's always a really amazing experience. And like Robin says, with the wildlife, with the birds, you always see something new. And if anyone that travels to New Zealand will know that there are a lot of waterfalls in New Zealand. Like when you're traveling, you're stopping off at a waterfall, what feels like every 20 minutes, but Robin and I still go searching for waterfalls around where we're living at the moment. And there's actually still a lot of waterfalls that we haven't seen, but we're always really amazed when we see like some mighty sort of waterfall and you see all the water coming over the cliff and you're like, oh my God. But it's always still fun. And
Laura has some friends visiting literally next week, and she's taking them to some more waterfalls again. So anyway, digressing, yes, we were talking about Fiji, Tonga, and all the country like that, but you can check out fijipocketguide.com, which is our travel guide to Fiji, and again, it's all free as well, and tongapocketguide.com, which is our travel guide to Tonga, and you'll enjoy it as well, I'm pretty sure, and they're amazing places to visit from New Zealand. So I digress, but not too much. We love wildlife. We love wildlife. Mira says, she's not sure yet if she's going to buy a car or take the bus. She says, leaning toward the car. I don't think the cost will be a barrier. And I'm pretty avid birder, so may want to go off the beaten path. But look like we'll have time to consider.
Yes, you definitely will have time
to consider. And yes, definitely, you will love, if you do love birds, you will love New Zealand. One of my tips will be to go as slow as possible. When we walk around with Laura loves kind of doing some miles, kind of.
Yeah, doing some good exercise.
Exactly, that's what she loves when hiking.
Quickly,
When I hike, I like to go quite slow and enjoy kind of the surroundings and all the bird life and all that, right? So I'll be the kind of guy that will kind of walk a little bit slowly, where there is no one around, and kind of scratch with my boots the floor of the path. And the birds, a lot of birds, especially the North Island robin and the South Island robin as well, to be fair. They are birds which usually stay not too far from the path, and they feed on all the little insects that when you walk, you are kind of stirring a little bit with your boots. So as soon as they're going to hear that, they kind of usually pop kind of really close to you. I mean, the last hike that we did, the bird was literally almost on my boots. And you just kind of scratch a little bit of the floor, and then you just stand still and you let them come to you. And that's absolutely awesome. And we actually give quite a few tips on how to find kind of birds throughout our video. If you want to watch our video about Motuapa Island, which is near Picton, so it's Motuapa. I'll type it for you in the live chat for your mirror. You will see that we actually decided to stay just by a water source, and the water source obviously very often attracts the birds and the wildlife.
Yeah, it's the only water source on the whole island.
Exactly.
So
that's when
why,
you know that, you just stay there and you get to see so many birds. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll type it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
While Robin's typing, I'll just give you another recommendation if you're really into seeing birds, is go to Stuart Island, which is the sort of New Zealand's third island. It's just below the South Island. You can take a ferry to get there. And then there's a place called Ulva Island there, which again has a ferry to get to it, which is quite affordable. And this has been like one of the best places that we've been to see a whole variety of birds, and even the New Zealand kiwi birds, they're walking around in the middle of the day, like nowhere else really in New Zealand you can see that happening. So if you're really into seeing a variety of bird life, then this place is like stepping back in time. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so definitely wildlife, you won't be disappointed in New Zealand. And bird life, especially because New Zealand is mostly populated, wildlife-wise, mostly populated by birds, so you're definitely going to see a ton. All right, guys, so we have an extra 10 minutes with you guys, so it's time for your quick fires question. And the more questions you give us, we give you like really short answer right now. Otherwise, you will have to wait for the following week. And the way you can get your question answered if you don't catch a live session is by just putting it in the comment of any of our videos, and we usually pick them up, print them, and answer them for you guys just while it gets a little bit more quiet in the live chat. So yeah, quick fire with all the question. Ajay says, when are you guys getting your immigration advisor license? We're not really interested in getting that. It's quite expensive and it requires a lot of work and studying and everything, and it's not really something that we want to do, because immigration advisor, they charge a lot of money for giving advice because there is a lot of cost in getting your license and all that. So it's more like lawyering type of work, and it's not really the kind of vibe that we like to go for. So we're not really interested in doing that. We like to focus on traveling in New Zealand. That's really what we love. You can see like right now we got a few questions about traveling in New Zealand, and it just make us smile and make us want to talk more about all those kind of things. So I don't think we're interested in getting an immigration license.
So that means that basically every time, what you're probably referring to is every time that we do get a question about visas and stuff, we will just continue saying that we are not legal immigration advisors, and we will keep on saying that for the next 80 live sessions that we do. That we've already done 80 live sessions saying that every single time. So it's not going to change, and hopefully you can forgive us for that.
Yes. Mira says, thanks, that response made me so excited to eventually get over to New Zealand. Ooh. Awesome, you will absolutely love the bird life. And seriously, just watch more of our videos about birds and everything. You'll be so stoked. You'll be surprised by what we can get with just a normal camera and a small GoPro, the kind of footage we can get. And that means we saw way better with our own eyes. You know, what you get on camera is never as good as what you see yourself. So just you'll be gobsmacked. Leo Smile says, traveling for a month and shoes. What is your expense? Okay, I get it. Shoes for hiking, shoes for water, walking in water, for kayak, waterproof shoes for the rainy days, or just quick dry shoes better? I think it's better to have two pairs. You want one pair of water shoes, something that drains itself really, really well. And you absolutely do need some waterproof hiking boots. I would recommend boots that goes ankle high, because that's basically the kind of shoes that I like the most, because they are more sturdy for all the very uneven terrain in New Zealand. Laura, though, prefers the lower kind of shoes.
Yeah, I just prefer sort of still waterproof, but hiking shoes, the ones that basically are boots. But that's only for my personal preference, because I usually find that hiking boots gives me blisters. So yeah, that's why I always choose shoes. But if you can get away with boots and they don't usually give you blisters, if you can get ones that fit you really well, they're usually a better option to go for, because they do give you that extra ankle support.
And one of the reasons why I advise you to have two pairs of shoes, one water shoes and one hiking shoes, is because your water shoes, when traveling around New Zealand and everything, that takes forever to dry, and they're never going to dry. So otherwise, I mean, the following day you have to do a hike with like wet feet, and that's the worst. So definitely you need to have a couple of pairs of shoes for that. So that'd be our opinion on that. And also get a pair of genders, which are flip-flop, in order to be able to go take showers in hostels and everything and feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Or you can just go barefoot if you don't really care.
Oh, I do care.
Robin cares.
Anthony says, do you ever think about doing a GoPro hike or walking?
Do you mean like literally just having the GoPro filming for the whole time of a walk? Or do you just sort of mean filming, just doing a bit of an edit of a hike? Because we do have a lot of videos about us doing, videos of us hiking, but we don't leave the camera on the whole time. We just sort of do different shots to sort of illustrate what that walk is like in New Zealand. You can find a ton of those on the channel. On our NZ Pocket Guide channel, we have a ton of different hikes. Yes, on one.
So that's the one leaving the camera on for the
yeah,
whole time?
no, we haven't
never
really
thought
done
of doing that. Yeah,
I thought we would think that was maybe a bit boring to watch, but if that's a thing, I'm not sure.
I don't know how long it will take to upload. Well, we do the Tongariro crossing. It takes 6 hours to do. How long does it take to upload a 6-hour video?
Yeah.
You know, internet, it takes forever.
Or maybe you can choose a shorter hike than that.
Okay, Anthony, if we were to do something like that, do you want to see like one of the really long walk, like a 6-hour, which is like one of the epic walk of New Zealand, like the Tongariro Alpine crossing, or do you feel like seeing something else? I'm not sure about like what kind of walk will work with that. May be a good idea. I need a bit of context, please, Anthony.
Are those the sort of videos that you usually watch on YouTube, Anthony, or is it just an idea that you just sort of come up with just now?
Yeah.
Like, is there people actually watching these sort of videos?
Yeah, does it exist?
About an hour. Okay, we could do about an hour. Fast walking Rotopunamu or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? We look into that. Maybe. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's have a look into it. Kshitij says, "Can we fly a drone in New Zealand?" You can, but it requires quite an extensive nonsense. We have a video about that on the channel actually. If you type just drone on our channel or drone NZ Pocket Guide, and you'll find our video when we explain all that. But in short, you kind of need to apply for a flying permit for most of the public lands, like anything run by the Department of Conservation. So every hike, every national park, all that, you actually have to apply for a permit. Depending on the location, it's about $75 for each application, which is for each flying day. And it's quite slow to get processed. So it's not that fast. So you just for the sake of flying a drone, I will say no, just leave your drone at home and enjoy yourself just in New Zealand. Don't try to play with all your gadgets. Just be in New Zealand for enjoying all the sceneries. You like it better. Also, you won't scare the wildlife because a drone definitely scares all the wildlife away. So that would be better to avoid. So Kshitij, our opinion, don't take your drone to New Zealand if you're not a professional filmmaker or photographer that actually plan to do that for a job.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be a bit of a waste of time and money for you. All right. Okay. So it looks like you guys are done with all your quick fire questions. So we the day. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining us on another Sunday live session. So it's happening every single week at 8 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday, which is Saturday around the world at those times. Laura, go for it.
So on Saturday in the UK and France, that is around 9 or 10 p.m. In the US, that's on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. EST or 1 p.m. PST. In India, that is early on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. And in Australia, that's also on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
But what I do is I put a link down in the description of this video in which you can just type what time and date you want to know from New Zealand. That will convert it to your current time. So that's really handy. That's the easiest way to do that. And it's like something like timeanddate.com. It's one of those websites that just gives you the time. Anyway, in the meantime, if you do have some questions and you didn't catch this live session live, well, you can still get your question answered by putting it in the comments of any of our videos. And if you did find this video useful, you can also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do video like that every single week, and we actually do more than just once a week. There's a ton of videos. This week we actually have the review of how do you call that? The Sahara drive, SSD drive. So I tried the SSD drive for you guys to see if it was the best thing to travel with ever. And spoiler alert, it is. So I will have a video for you guys coming out tomorrow about that. And we'll also have some more questions answered throughout the week. And we'll also have some more travel videos coming out throughout the weekend. by the time all of that is out, it's already the following week, and we're already back here with you guys to tell you more about traveling in New Zealand. So it's pretty awesome.
It is indeed.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
See you next week and stay safe.
Bye.